You were named one of the top 25 wedding vendor videographers in the world by the WED.
I had a lot of friends who were photographers, and so of course, I just impulsively drove to Best Buy and I bought a video camera. And I bought it as a hobby. And honestly, as a broke college kid, it was a terrible financial decision, which ended up leading to the best. Just started diving into it. I realized that I wanted to make this something that was more long term. I don't want my clients to watch their wedding video and feel like this wasn't their wedding. I want them to feel the emotions from it. I want them to cry. I want them to laugh. I want them to just, again, experience every single element of emotion that they experience throughout their wedding day while keeping that consistent high level quality, feeling like this could genuinely be a movie.
Hi, my name is Andrea, and besides of being recently married, I own the leading company in bouquet preservation in the world. It is when connecting with my clients that I felt the need to serve them and help them navigate this new and exciting journey. On this podcast, we bring you everything you need to know to plan the wedding of your dreams. We'll be featuring conversations with top wedding vendors and valuable tips and advice from real couples. Whether you're engaged, simply love, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's get started on this journey to your perfect wedding day. Welcome to the club, to Bridal Club.
I am so excited and so honored that you're doing this with me today. This is the third time that I've seen you through a screen in the past month or so. The very first one was the masterclass that you were hosting. And as soon as that masterclass was over, I reached out to you to, number one, have you on this podcast. I knew I wanted you to be the first videographer to be on our podcast. We haven't had one before. And then also because of your coaching sessions, I actually hired you to coach me. I wanted you to see my company from the outside looking in and give me some advice. And I am just so happy that we did this together. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so crazy how all of the things work, right? Just from attending a master class to our coaching session to here. So, no, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's an honor, truly. So why don't you tell our audience, for those who may not be very familiar with your name, who you are and what you're doing?
My name is Emma. I'm a videographer based out of Los Angeles, California. I travel worldwide. I started my company in 2019. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in accounting, but I was already fully dove into videography, into making that my full-time career. And so I'm 6 years into this, and I feel like I'm just getting started. I feel like there's so many more things that I want to do and accomplish, but I'm just truly so thankful for everything that my career has led me to.
Emma, you were named one of the top 25 wedding vendor videographers in the world by the WED. How does that feel?
Thanks. It's definitely humbling. Again, I think my work isn't done and it won't be done for years and years to come. And so taking a moment to recognize like that's absolutely incredible. But I also, I have so much respect for my peers, for so many people who aren't on the list that I'm like, no, y'all are the best. So it's really great to be recognized and know that my hard work is being noticed.
I remember when you and I had the coaching session, I was like, I have to ask you, how old are you? And you're really young. So it's so inspiring that you have accomplished so much in such like a short overall career. So for you to be able to not only do what you do in the way that you do it, but also teach is so inspiring, truly.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm 25 years old. When I started, I was 19, and I think I was about 2 years in when I wanted to start offering mentorships. And I remember people being like, "You're not old enough to do a mentorship. You don't have enough experience." And I had kind of put myself in this box of like, well, then okay, I guess education, like I guess I can, I guess I'm not allowed. And then I realized how much, my own perspective could bring to the table. And there isn't a right or a wrong way to climbing up the ladder of success in this industry. It's based off of so many different right ways, so many different wrong ways, right? And so I knew, okay, I can't listen to all this outside noise. I know that I have so much that I can bring to the table. And so I just started with mentorships. And then that was when I really dove into workshops. And so now I host wedding videographer workshops all around the world. My next one is in Dallas, actually, in Texas.
Oh,
It's
amazing.
my ninth workshop over the past 5 years.
Wow.
And it's been amazing. It's been so incredible just seeing how many lives it touches and how many careers you can have an impact on. And I think education specifically, it's so much bigger than ourselves. It's not just like,
Yes.
oh, great, I can make some money. It's no, how can I help people from all different areas of the wedding industry? So no, I've been incredibly grateful for that experience too.
I want to touch base on the fact that you started at 19 and that you were going to school for accounting. Two different worlds. How did that happen?
Growing up, I grew up in a really, really, really small rural town in Oregon. Entrepreneurship definitely wasn't something that was really talked about or really looked at as a sustainable long-term career. And so, it was a lot more of like going the traditional route, going to college, working the 9 to 5. I originally had gone to school for pharmacy. I was in my second year when I realized that for personal reasons, it just wasn't aligning with me. And so I ended up switching majors over to accounting because I'd always enjoyed business. I'd always loved business. And I thought, honestly, taxes and spreadsheets and logistics, all of that sounded fun to me. Like I loved the numbers. And so when I got into accounting, I was really happy there. I was doing internships for accounting firms in like their small business areas and in like affordable housing, like all the things that probably no one really enjoys talking about. But that being said, I had more free time on my hands. I've always been a busybody growing up. And so I thought, oh, well, it'd be really fun to like pick something up. And I had a lot of friends who were photographers. And so, of course, college me was like, no, I want to be different. So I just impulsively drove to Best Buy and I bought a video camera and I was like, let's get into video. This would be fun. Um, I bought it as a hobby. And honestly, as a broke college kid, it was like a terrible financial decision, which ended up leading to the best. But I funded it all on my credit card. I bought that in a drone and I was like, well, I'll figure it out. Like, let's just see,
Wow.
I'll work my server job at a restaurant, pay it off. And so I just started diving into it, right? Like I had a friend getting married. My story is like everyone, like so many other people. I had a friend getting married. They were like, will you film my wedding? I was like, sure. They paid me $400. I remember I filmed their entire wedding day. I gave them the world, everything that I had filmed. And I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. And like, what, as a college kid, I'm like, $400? Are you kidding me? Like, I would love to film weddings all year. And honestly, after that, it just started taking off. I realized very quickly what my goals were. I realized that I wanted to make this something that was more long term. I was able to kind of put myself in the wedding industry and see, hey, actually, the wedding world is insanely huge. We just don't know it if we're not inside it, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, I just dove into it. And here we are now, 6 years later. I am so grateful for all the experience that my accounting degree has been able to provide me, just with understanding the logistics. I've always said I love I've always been more of a business owner than I have a creative. And I think that that's really drove a lot of like where I've taken my business in the last 6 years. And I'm really, really thankful for that.
Yeah, I can absolutely relate. I was actually interviewing an artist today to start working for me, and I said the same thing. I love the creative part of my business. Of course, I mean,
Hmm.
that's how I started, obviously. However, I love marketing as much. I just love it.
Yeah.
Building, growing the business and expanding and whatnot. So yeah, we definitely have that in common. So you have a very beautiful style, of course, but very specific. It is very like cinematic and but very personal at
Hmm.
the same time. How would you describe it?
My films take a much more cinematic movie-like approach, while staying real, right? I don't want my clients to watch their wedding video and feel like this wasn't their wedding or this could have been last weekend's wedding that they just saw. I want it to feel so intentionally them. I want them to feel the emotions from it. I want them to cry. I want them to laugh. I want them to just, again, experience every single element of emotion that they experience throughout their wedding day while keeping that consistent high level quality while watching it feeling like this could genuinely be a movie,
Yeah,
right?
agreed.
There's so many different styles in filmmaking that are absolutely beautiful. But the route that I've always taken is more of that cinema like approach. And so that was what I would say is like my style of filmmaking is really like creating a movie that actually feels like them at the end of the day.
Yeah, I so wish that we had met before my wedding. So wish that had happened. How has
Same.
I know how has your style evolved over the years? Have you always had that approach in mind, or has it continued to evolve as year after year?
I would say I think it's always evolved year after year. I mean, it's definitely changed in a sense, but I've always enjoyed the cinema-like approach. I've always been a big movie lover. I loved watching the way things were filmed, which growing up, I never anticipated even being an entrepreneur, let alone in filmmaking. But looking back, I've loved movies. I love watching the way they're filmed, watching the way they're created, watching the way that they really emotionally draw me in, and make me experience it as if I was there. But when I had actually first started, I was living in Oregon and I actually was doing a lot of elopements. So I was filming a lot in the woods, in the mountains, by waterfalls. Like a lot of nature was involved in my films. And so I definitely think I was even more emotionally driven then. Now, stepping outside of that niche, where now I'm filming, multi-day,
Yeah.
big production, large luxury weddings or destination weddings, or even small weddings. I really that approach has really turned to making sure that I always maintain that cinema-like quality while showcasing the design, while showcasing my client's emotions, the family's emotion, the guest emotion. So I would say it has. I mean, it's just evolved, right? There's more elements than there were when I had first started, right? Because we're dealing with weddings that, might be multiple days or really heavy into the design, or, there's so many elements that play a role into it.
I definitely want to talk about the destination weddings. When did that start happening, and what did you feel the first time that you were basically getting paid to travel to actually film and do what you love?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I remember one of my first ones off the bat. Um, I want to say this was it was 2 years in. I think I was like, or maybe even my beginning of my third. But I had done this social media challenge. I was really big into just researching and understanding social media. It was like a 90-day challenge where I was testing out posts and reels and stories and all of the things, right? And I'd put all this work in because I was like, I want to be more destination based. I want to get outside of Oregon. Um, and I remember specifically getting an inquiry, and I credit it to this challenge because of just how much work I put in into niching out. But I got an inquiry for the Maldives, and that was like at the beginning of my career, thinking about filming a wedding there. One of the most beautiful places in the world. I was just like head over heels for it, and I'll never forget that experience. I mean, it was beautiful, and it was just a small elopement, right? It was just a couple that we had gone to go film. It wasn't this big wedding or this big production, but it was one of the most beautiful experiences. And I think even for destination weddings in itself, I it also took a lot of work on my end. Like I would go, I had personal trips scheduled for Ireland and Italy. I made sure that both of those countries I would produce styled shoots off of, that I would create in those spaces so that then I could go back and do actual weddings there,
Yeah.
which have happened years later. And so a lot of it has been the work that I've put in to be really intentional about marketing for a destination. Um, but now I live in California, I'm in Los Angeles, and while I do quite a bit of work here in LA, I'm still constantly on a plane. So I'm still always, all across the world,
Yeah.
filming weddings, which is awesome.
I love it. How many weddings do you take per year?
Yeah, so I take about anywhere from 12 to 15 weddings a year. A lot of them are multiple days. They range in terms of, what the style is or what's important to the client. Maybe it's a wedding that is more family driven. Maybe it's a bigger production wedding. I feel like I see them all. I definitely do not believe that I have a niche of clientele at the end of the day. I mean, I've filmed weddings where the client is like, hey, you know what? We want to showcase a ton of the design, the entertainment, the guests. The focus is not on us. We have clients who are like, the focus is all on us.
Yeah.
Um, but it ranges, honestly. And I think that's what keeps my job exciting and keeps it
Right.
fresh. I always feel, if you niche out too much, you can burn yourself out. And so I'm really thankful for the different types of weddings that I have and the different types of clients. And 12 to 15 is perfect.
Yeah, I feel like you're very strategic in everything that you do, and the number of
Thank
weddings that you
you.
take per year is for a reason. What would that reason
Yeah.
be?
A lot of it is just the logistics and the planning that goes into each one. I mean, when I first started weddings, I was filming anywhere from like 20 to 40, right? Which was
Wow.
so much, so many weddings for me, right? And so now thinking about, how quickly I would kind of go through those, now there's so much pre-production work that goes into it, right? Me talking with the planner, getting all the information that I need, strategizing ahead of time, um, really understanding the couple. While a lot of the times I'm actually not meeting the couple before the wedding. I love to, but not all the times do I get to. And so if I'm not able to meet the couple ahead of time, I have to do even more work to make sure that I'm really getting a great sense of their wedding and what's important to them and what's important to their family and for a wedding video. And so there's just so much pre-production work that goes into it. And of course, like some of these weddings are larger multi-day weddings. And so they require, you know, three, four, five, six filmmakers at times. And so there's a lot of logistics that go into there from planning travel to making sure that everyone understands their role. Um, and then of course the post-production process, right? So yeah, 12 to 15 weddings. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot of work for each wedding, just making sure, you know, that we're giving our clients the exact same experience that they deserve.
That's awesome. And I love that you are basically doing a lot of quality versus quantity. Because
Yeah.
yes, there are a lot of people that will take 50 weddings or more, you know.
Hmm.
But you can obviously see the production and the love seriously behind each one of them. I love the fact that you
Thank
share a
you.
lot of your behind the scenes also, because ever since I started following you, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so fun just to see how you're like setting up the camera and the
Hmm.
sunset, like filming the whole sunset, which I don't know why I'd never really thought about how that was done.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into it. You know, you're paying a premium price point, and so you deserve to have everything and more, right?
Yeah.
I always put myself in my client's shoes. What do I want to experience? What would I want out of this? If you're going to pay top dollar for a wedding video, you should have all the things. And so it's great. But yeah, a lot of locations that we go to, it's so much more than just film the couple, film the guests, film the decor, right? There's so much more of like thinking about B-roll. I just filmed a wedding in the Bahamas and we were there for 5 days and filming for three of those days. But really, it ends up being we're filming for 5 days, right? Because we're waking up early in the morning to film time lapses of the sunrise, to go out into the ocean and film sea turtles and film sharks and film turtles
Wow.
and um so many of those elements that of course are incredible and so much fun personally to get to
Oh
do,
yeah.
but I'm also thinking for my clients, and I want them when they watch their wedding video, I want them to fully immerse themselves back into that weekend because that those are the things that they've been able to experience, right? And maybe it's, they're going out on a boat for just a little excursion, tagging along with them so that I can just kind of get a really good sense of, how this weekend really felt to them. So yeah, there's a lot of details that go into it, so much far past just filming the couple and the guests.
Yes. And just to give you guys, the audience, a perspective, imagine filming again a sunset. How many hours do you think that is for like maybe a few seconds?
Yeah, so for those types of filming, I'm filming time lapses. And so those, I'll set my camera out there for a few hours, really just to, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm only using a few seconds of it in a film,
Right,
but it's
right.
worth it. And that's the kind of
Yes.
work, again, like that's the kind of service that I want to give every single one of my clients because that's what they deserve.
I love it. I love it so much. And there's a huge skill set that a lot of people may not understand is, and it really is kind of like a science, managing a team. You're managing a lot of personalities, a lot of different, I mean, just even talents as well. How do you, I mean, I know you have a team. Can you tell us a little bit more about that as well?
Yeah, so I work with anywhere from 3 to 6 filmmakers on the wedding day. Six has been my biggest team.
Wow.
And personally, I love the logistics side of filming and, owning a business in the wedding industry. I absolutely love going through a timeline. I'm creating my own timeline. I'm
Wow.
meeting with my team before the wedding day to make sure that everyone has a good understanding of exactly what their role is. If there are any really monumental moments during the wedding day, what are their roles and where are they going to be? Because honestly, during the wedding day, there's so many things that don't go perfectly right, right? Like there's so many things that change. But what's really important is that, we have plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, we've got B, C, and D ready to go. We're able to flex and adapt really, really well on the fly. But that's what a lot of that pre-production looks like ahead of time. And then on the wedding day, it's just being super communicative. Um, I I find it really important. It really matters who I bring on to each wedding. I'm thinking about skill sets. I'm thinking about, what is needed for this wedding, and I want to make sure that I am choosing someone on my team who really, really thrives at that certain skill set. For example, maybe it's I know this wedding is going to be really design heavy. I love filming wides, but I also want someone else to be really good at filming details, really clean, smooth details. So that's what I'm seeking out to bring with me for the wedding day. It's really knowing, what do I need? And okay, now if I've got, two of us who are really incredible at filming details, I need a third who's really strong at filming the guest emotion. So those are the types of people that I want to bring on. And thus forth, right? Whether I bring on an on-site editor or someone who really just flies drone. I just had a wedding recently where I just brought on a drone operator and I had them come in. And I mean, that was their strong suit. And they flew drone all day. The shots were absolutely incredible. And so I think just understanding the importance of everyone's role and really making sure that I am bringing people onto my team who honestly can do better jobs than I can. I always look at my team as they are, better than me. They're incredible, incredible filmmakers, editors, drone operators, all of them are. I think that just makes for such a good team on the wedding day.
I agree. I agree. And then having humility and saying exactly what you said, we want to
Thanks.
basically hire people that are better than us in specific roles. I think that
Yeah.
is truly what sets a team apart versus obviously
Hmm.
like an entrepreneur, like solo entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with it, of course, but we just have to recognize that we may not be great at every single part of it.
Yeah.
Yes, and I love the fact that you're mentioning like how you're basically hiring people. It's again, it's a science. A lot of people might not know that, but it's truly a science.
It is, it is. And I think, yeah, you have to let your ego go, right? There's in the wedding world, or honestly just in entrepreneurship, it can be really easy as much as we say, like, oh, I'm not the best, but we want to be the best in the room,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like we want to make sure that like everyone knows, like, we're the lead, we're the best. But for me, what's that worth, right? Like really truly, what is that worth? No, at the end of the day, I want to be bringing the best of the best
Yes.
onto my team for every single wedding so that we can just show my clients that they are going to get the most magnificent film, because at the end of the day, like that does benefit me. At the end of the day, it's my film going to my clients. And so
Right.
who am I to sit there and say, well, I'm the best filmmaker and I want to be the best person in the room? That's benefiting no one. No one, truly, not even myself. And so yeah, you really have to have that humility and just understanding, okay, you know what are the weaknesses that need filled right now? Okay, great. Those are the people that I'm going to bring onto my team. And also bringing people onto my team who think the same, right? I
Yes.
don't want to bring someone on my team who has an ego problem.
Exactly.
I want people who are willing to be there to show up to give 110%, just as I would. And yeah, those really make for the best teams at the end of the day.
Right. The people that you know are going to care for your clients. If you're not in the room, is just so crucial and so important for sure. I want to talk to you about your workshop. What is it like? I know you said that you're coming to Dallas.
Come back in March and for my ninth workshop, and I love hosting them.
I would love to know more about what those are in
Mhm.
case we have some filmmakers listening to this episode.
Yeah, of course. So, in a nutshell, the Wedding Filmmaker Workshop is a workshop that is specifically designed for videographers who want to elevate their craft and who are looking for community. It is a place where I have seen so many lives changed, careers changed, weddings booked, friends made, unique experiences had. Um, it's something that I feel like is just so outer worldly, right? Like as much as I want to talk about it, it's just an experience that I love for people to get to come into. A lot of the filmmakers who join us, they're filmmakers who are honestly, they just need to surround themselves with community who are wanting to work as hard as they want to. You learn so much from the education that we actually provide. So we have guest speakers who are there leading educational presentations. We've got styled shoots that are made so that you can get the exact content that you need in your portfolio. Like, for example, Dallas is all European themed. So, any filmmakers who are like, I want to go to Europe to film a wedding, these shoots are exactly built for that. Um, Past that, I mean, you learn so much from your peers. And so just being able to be in a room with people who think like you, I mean, it makes all the difference. This world can be so isolating. And I think as educators, I feel really, really blessed from everyone that I've made as a friend in this industry. I've been able to meet so many people from all around the world. But without that, I mean, it can be easy to just feel so alone. My family isn't a creative family. My friends, I mean, quite a few of them are creatives because I've made them over the years. But for a lot of people who just start out, there's not really anyone necessarily in your corner maybe that understands it like you do. And so just being able to be in the room with those people, like-minded, and make friends that honestly have built to friendships for years it's the coolest thing.
I love that. I actually started going to networking events in the wedding industry specifically 2 years ago. And my mindset was, well, if I go to two networking events in a year and I make a few connections, if they send me a few clients, that's going to pay off for it.
Hmm.
And that mindset was totally wrong. And I didn't understand it until like that year had ended. I'm like, okay, this is not how it works. You truly go and make connections because you want to give. And the more you give, it just comes back naturally
Hmm.
that you don't even have to like sell your product, sell anything. You're like literally just
Yeah.
basically there to serve others, and it just really pays so much for itself.
So I honestly couldn't agree more. And I think the power of networking right now, the power of being in person,
Yes.
even just a few years ago, everything was online, people were doing online. Well, now we have this really saturated industry that what's setting people apart is actually getting in the room with people, is actually physically showing up to shake someone's hand in person, to get to know them in person. That makes all the difference right now. That's where people are standing out because they're putting themselves in the room. And it goes so much far past just networking events, but yeah, even just the workshop. I mean, I have seen, oh gosh, over 100 weddings, produced from this, whether it be second shooting, whether it be lead shooting for someone that you met at the workshop, whether it be booking your own wedding, whether it be booking a vendor wedding. Like it's absolutely incredible seeing all that comes from it just from honestly just meeting your peers.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I want to talk to you also about the coaching that you do online, basically what you and I did together. I would love for you to tell us what that is and how people can find basically that resource.
Yeah, so I also offer coaching sessions, and those are, 1 to 2 hours depending what is needed. But those are really just built for anyone in the wedding industry. I come from a business background. I feel like there's so much valuable information that I have to give. I'm always also very, very transparent up front. If I feel like I'm a good fit or not. Like I know even with us, when you had reached out, I was like, hey, I'm not in your niche, in the floral preservation industry. However, what questions you have, like, let me make sure this is a good fit first. And so when you laid out all your questions, I was like, here's everything that I can help with, and here are a few that I wouldn't be a good fit to help for. So that way, I make sure that I am a good fit because at the end of the day, I think what drives my business, education, working with clients, I want to treat people how I want to be treated. And that means in the education space, I am always constantly thinking, how would I like this? How would I want this to be received? I don't want to pay someone, ask them all these questions. They have no idea how to help me. They just wanted my money, and then I felt taken advantage of. So, yeah, sure, maybe I miss out on money that way, but honestly, I do business right and like mentally business right. I mean,
You absolutely do.
um,
And again, it just goes back to it pays for itself, right? I mean, obviously we're
yeah.
having this conversation and I'm really hoping that other vendors are running to your website and seeking that coaching session. To for me, it was so helpful. As I mentioned before we started filming this episode, it was so helpful. I mean, again, I just wanted you from a
Thank you.
totally different industry or niche to come in and tell me what you thought. Because if you, I mean, if I didn't do that, then who, right? Sometimes you're so inside of your little business and like I
Yes.
say little, I shouldn't say little, inside of your business and
Hmm.
like running your like a little
Yeah.
investor that you do need eyes from the outside looking in and saying like, hey, I don't understand your product as much, but I do want to
Hmm.
understand it, and this is what you should do, right?
I completely agree because I absolutely second that. I think even for myself, in my own mentorships, I'm always thinking, okay, what do I need? Like I always want to make sure, like, do I actually have a list of questions? And what are we looking for? Even if those list of questions are like, can we just review my website and like let me hear your thoughts? But like I always want to make sure that I actually have value that I'm seeking
Mhm.
before I go into something, and then also making sure that it is the right fit. And so I think for anyone out there who's looking for a coaching session, what is it that you're looking for? Are you looking for more business help? Don't just find someone who inspires you, but actually understanding like why do they inspire you and can they actually help you? Because I think at the end of the day, a lot of people hold a lot of really great knowledge. It's important that you find someone that can teach well,
Right.
that can explain things in a way that you're going to understand and can be able to dissect, but also that can give you steps to walk away with. For me, I'm less of a mindset person. I need actual tangible steps. Like tell me what I need to do today. So
Yeah.
that way, as soon as we hop off this call, I've got a list of things I can go through that are going to get me to that next step. And so it's research on our end, right? As someone looking for a mentorship, do your research, make sure that you're finding someone who not only just offers it, but that you really can tell is good at it, Because yeah, it's great to get another perspective. It's always great to get another perspective. But if you're gonna pay someone for their time, make sure that you're getting someone's perspective who you really, truly, truly value and you know why you value it.
Yeah, and I mean, I love, as you said, like the very first email, I reached out to you via Instagram regarding the podcast.
Hmm.
Then I reached out to you via email regarding the coaching session. And the first thing you asked is, what exactly do you want to get out of this? Or, so you could tell me if we were a good match, and that alone obviously spoke for itself.
Thanks.
So yeah, so thank you for that. So I also want to talk to you about the imposter syndrome that you've mentioned before in comparison, because I feel like especially for people that are starting off, is just so hard. They're probably thinking, I don't know that this is the right time because it's just so saturated. There's a lot of people that are super talented. I don't know if I'm good enough. Tell us more about that, and what would you say to somebody starting?
Oh my gosh, I have felt imposter syndrome and comparison syndrome my entire career.
Yeah.
Honestly, it comes in waves, right? There are months where I have blocked it out. I'm not worried about it. I'm not feeling it. I'm in my own lane, doing my own thing. And you know what? There are some days where I'm like, whew, this is really hard.
Yeah.
And so as much as I would love to tell everyone that it just goes away, it comes in waves. I think how you tackle it is what really speaks volumes. And that's something that I've just learned over time is recognizing when I'm feeling it, recognizing if I'm feeling comparison syndrome out of fear, if I'm feeling imposter syndrome out of fear. There's so many times where, yeah, I've felt where I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, how am I here? Like, I shouldn't be here. Or maybe it's just thinking, gosh, like I feel like I have a different style than, the person next door. So how do I own that? But at the same time, I've got a style like, the other person next door. So how do I differentiate myself? Um, and a lot of that is mindset. A lot of that is things that you have to have the confidence, especially as a business owner. If you don't have confidence in yourself, how do you expect your clients to have confidence in you, right? And as corny as it sounds, a lot of it for me has been fake it till you make it. Like it really has been. It really has been. You know what? I'm gonna put a smile on my face and I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna
Yeah.
figure out how to battle those things and how to just keep pushing forward because at the end of the day, if I let those things, if I let imposter syndrome, if I let comparison syndrome both overcome me, the only person it's hurting is me. I'm doing it to myself. That's the thing. We're letting it do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm the only person that's going to push myself forward at the end of the day. And I know, well, I have financial goals I want to hit. I have lifestyle goals I want to hit. So if I continue to let this bring me down, again, I'm the only person that's letting it do it to myself. So I have to keep pushing forward.
You have to do it uncomfortable, honestly, and you just have to push yourself, whether you want to do it
Hmm.
or not. I am more of an introvert than an extrovert. I dread networking events, even though I'm on the board, right? So I'm actually the one planning these events as well. And I dread
Hmm.
going. And then I go and I'm like, okay, that was amazing. I made a lot of connections. I'm so glad I went because I was so close to cancel. But it's one of those things that I know I have to push myself, whether that is
Hmm.
going to networking events or actually buying the camera with a
Yep.
credit card or the drone just so you can start
Yeah.
seeing if it's for you or not. You just have to do
Hmm.
it. And that first step is going to be the hardest, but it's the most important sometimes.
Absolutely. Because again, yeah, the only person that you're hurting is yourself. And I think this even speaks to a lot of networking events. I've had so many conversations with people from all over the industry. And it's like, oh, like I just don't like networking events. I don't want to be there. And I'm like, that's because you haven't found one that's the right fit for
Yeah,
you.
that's true.
Right? There are lots of different networking events out there, but you have to find one that does match you. Maybe you're not going to feel the most comfortable in a 300-person setting. Maybe you feel a lot more comfortable in a 100-person setting. Maybe you're like, no, like just put me in there, coach. Like 300 people sounds great.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like understanding, like, okay, what would benefit you? But again, at the end of the day, it's only hurting you if you don't go. And so when like, I'm doing this for my family, I'm doing this for myself, for my future, for everything that I want to accomplish, I have to. And it sounds maybe harsh, but a lot of it is just telling myself, Emma, get over it. You get up and let's keep
Yeah.
moving forward because
And
I've been in
right.
those slumps. I felt, I face a lot of anxiety all the time. Like I'm constantly overthinking things. And so it's been a lot of me coaching myself to be like, you got to keep moving because if you don't, the only one it affects is me right
Agree.
here.
Agree.
And, you know,
Yeah, that and it does get easier.
I feel like a lot of it gets easier too, just especially with comparison syndrome. I even know for myself of just like looking at it, when I found confidence in what I was creating, I then had a lot less feeling of comparison syndrome with other
I love
people.
that.
And
Yeah.
so and that took time, right? Like I didn't feel that year one. Year one, I was like, what am I doing? How does this work? Even year two, I'm like, what's my style? Even as I've jumped markets, I've been like, okay, like am I supposed to be here now? Like my work doesn't look like the rest. Um, but again, it's been a lot of like, no, I'm proud of what I create to get to a point today where I'm able to be confident in the quality, in the style that I offer, in exactly the brand that I am, that confidence, it has allowed way less comparison syndrome because I
Yeah.
know what I offer and I know the value that I bring to the table. And even if it sounds silly, but just understanding like even to a technical element of like really feeling confident in your website, in your Instagram, in your portfolio, right? And if you're not feeling comfortable in those spaces, well, then now's the time to get comfortable. And what are you missing? Do you need
Yeah.
to do a coaching session? Do you need to be at a workshop? Do you need to do a mentorship? Take an online course, go to a networking event. What are you lacking so that you can feel confident in those spaces? That allows for a lot less comparison, which I found to be really helpful. And yeah, that is something that comes over time.
I love it. This has been so lovely. What are your next things for this coming year?
Oh my goodness. Honestly, I'm all over the place, right? There's always new things on the horizon, whether it be with the workshop or, my educational spaces. I just did 2 online courses that were how I film a ceremony and how I film cocktail hour that were like live behind the scenes of me filming those events and teaching how I prep and how I film and what it looks like in the end. That was awesome. I love filming weddings and I love getting to teach people, and that's what I want to continue to do. And so it's just a lot of that and traveling for weddings, which I'm so thankful to do. I have so many beautiful weddings coming up this year that I'm so excited for.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate everything that you've taught us just in this short episode. How can people find you, connect with you, hopefully hire you? And of course, if they're vendors, so they can hire you to do a coaching session.
Thank you. Well, no, thank you so much for having me. I love getting to come on here and just chat. And again, it's podcasting, like it's all about hearing someone's perspective, right? Because there's not a right or a wrong. It's just getting to hear from someone else.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me. If you want to, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Emma K underscore films, and it's the letter K. So Emma K underscore films. And if you are interested in hiring me for a wedding or for booking a coaching call, you can go to emmakfilms.com. That's where you see my education space, and you'll also see my contact form for a wedding inquiry. But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was lovely.